From the very beginning months of the campaign, we knew in 2000 and in 2004 we would have to try to get into the presidential debates.
Ralph Nader could visit every city and town in this nation personally and not reach 10% of the people who watch the debates.
Now, most people don't understand how the presidential debates are run. They have memories of the League of Women Voters hosting it or something, you know, or they think journalists host it. But it's really a private corporation that sits a few blocks away from here, New Hampshire Avenue in Washington, D.C., that is run by former chair of the Democratic National Committee and the former chair of the Republican National Committee.
One is the biggest lobbyist for the gaming industry. The other is a lobbyist as well, both. Frank Fahrenkopf and Kirk produced. They were producers, so they decided which candidates the voters could see. And their sponsors were Anheuser-Busch, U.S. Airwaves, corporations. Can you imagine how much an American corporation would want Ralph Nader on that stage?
They set criteria that says you have to have 15% of the measure of support measured by the average of 5 different national polls.
But if what we're picking is a poll number, then what we're in effect saying is we'll allow you in the debates if we think you're a factor in the election. And so in an election in which now the Gore world wants to say Ralph Nader lost the election for us, I guess he must have been a factor in the election. But you said he couldn't be in the debates because he wasn't a factor in the election.
You had, polls showed 2/3 of the American people wanted him in the debates.
Look at which issues concern the American public. Fairly broad swath of them were not being covered in the debates, as far as we can tell.
But they froze Ralph out of the debates.
The first debate between Gore and Bush was Tuesday, the 3rd of October, in Boston.
The campaign had decided that if we weren't going to be able to be in the actual debate on the stage, that we were going to try to be in the debate hall.
I got a phone call from Ralph's entourage that was touring with him at about 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And they said, Jason, what we really want for tomorrow is a ticket to the debate. We got this kid, University of Massachusetts, where the debate was going to be held, and his dad had gotten him a ticket. Call this kid. And I said, how would you, in the name of democracy, like to have a press conference tomorrow at Harvard where you hand over your ticket to Ralph Nader and say, I think you should be there at this debate? And the kid loved it.
There were lots of people protesting the exclusion of third parties, including, I should mention, not just the Greens. The Libertarians are upset. The other third parties would like to have a chance to talk to the American people.
With my brother, and he wondered, oh, how I am. I said what I believe.
Now we hopped on the T, and we rode to this staging area for the debates because there was huge security around the debates. Three perimeters and all the Secret Service and hundreds of cops and so forth. And there were also well over 5,000 people there protesting to let my uncle on the debates.
It was an unbelievable scene. It was like out of some, gigantic painting of a semi-revolutionary journey.
As we started passing these barricades and these thousands of people, they recognized my uncle inside the bus, and they just went crazy. Okay, here's the situation.
Yeah.
We have an arrangement to do a show with Fox. Their truck is inside. We could walk through with our ticket, sit in the truck, watch the debates, and do the show.
Yeah, that's not an option, sir.
Right now, the commission is saying they will not let us through the gate to sit in the Fox truck to watch the show, the debate, and then proceed with the interview. So the officers are telling us once again that the commission's decision is to have us leave the premises.
I kept saying to myself, I can't believe I'm in America. I can't believe this is going on. Gentlemen, I think you're being subjected to an unlawful order, and you really ought to go to your superiors, because a private party cannot misuse the status of the state police. You're the state police,
Correct,
right?
yes.
They cannot do that.
Okay, what's going to happen is now we have two options. You
Yeah.
were warned once before
Yeah.
that if you return, you were going to be placed under arrest
Yeah.
for trespassing. Is it your intent to be arrested?
Of course not. And I have never been arrested, and I will not be
But
arrested.
we're still
I'm
going
just
to
saying.
give you the option, Mr.
I don't
Nader, to
understand.
please leave the
Yeah.
scene, or you're going to be placed under arrest for trespassing. That's it. I really don't want to get in a debate with you out here. We'll give you a police escort off the grounds, or we'll in fact give you a ride off the grounds, or in fact you can be placed under arrest for trespassing and physically taken off the grounds.
Let me please.
What would we like to do right now?
Let me please, Mr. McPhail, let me please just reply to you. I have no understanding why you are being instructed to do this. We have an official invitation from one of the major television
Well,
networks.
they're not allowing you access to the grounds.
Who's not allowing? The debate commission?
The debate committee, correct, sir.
And they have to.
I really do not want
Wait,
to get
no,
in
I
an
don't want.
argument
No, I don't want to
with you.
argue.
You seem like too nice of a man to
no,
argue.
I don't want to argue with. All I want to ask you is, this is a political exclusion. I'm not a security risk. I'm not being disrupted. This is a political exclusion. You should not be misused. The authority of the state of Massachusetts should not be misused for a political exclusion of a presidential candidate who has a ticket to be in Kripke Auditorium, to watch the debate on remote television, and who has an official invitation from Fox News. So, I make my point.
Very good.
This is the strangest situation I've ever seen.
How are we going to get you off the property, Mr.
We have
Nader?
to get a bus or whatever.
The Presidential Debate Commission excluded Ralph Nader and Pat Buchanan from the presidential debates. They also wouldn't even let Mr. Nader into the hall. The independent presidential candidate was given a legitimate ticket by a student supporter for a remote area in the auditorium. But acting like thugs, officials threatened to have him arrested if he didn't leave the premises. Presumably, Mr. Nader's presence might have offended some of the commission's fat cat contributors in their prominent seats.
He should not have left, and he could have made his point that way by being escorted out manually by the police, and he could have had a bigger impact in the 2000s.
Perhaps, but it would have been a very short time, and the complications of being a defendant would have been longer term, and it would have been a defensive situation on my part, not an offensive situation, which what I turned it into when I sued the Commission on Presidential Debates.
They threw out the wrong guy this time.
Turns out we found in a subsequent lawsuit that their counsel had passed around a Facebook.
They had Ralph's picture they gave all the cops?
Sheets of paper with the pictures of all the third-party candidates and their vice presidential candidates, and basically said, if any of these people show up on the premises, don't let them in.
They had a picture of me that I was going to break in? Okay, this is the Facebook. Huh? Look out for these guys, huh? Ralph was the #1 guy they're looking for. He's on the top of the list.
The commission did write a written apology, and they ended up giving $50,000 to the Electoral Reform Project at Harvard Law School.
It all backs up to the guys outside the Capitol with the briefcases funding the people who make a vote and can make or break billions and billions of dollars worth of business. Their life is the price of their stock, and Ralph Nader threatens that, and we cannot overstate the power that they bring to stop him from doing that, including the power to decide that he is not going to get on this stage.